Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football, our second match reaction show for today, as mentioned. And we're reviewing the blockbuster game for the weekend, Manchester City against Liverpool. And after that, all I have to say is I want my money back after that second half because that was a bit painful to watch as a neutral fan. I don't know, maybe if you're a fan of City or Liverpool, you might have been on the edge of your seat. But as a neutral, that was boring. But we've got Ayush here with us. Ayush, welcome back to the show after your after the preview. Your prediction didn't pan out. Well, almost panned out. You said 3-2 draw. Gian was the one who said it would be 2-2. So
Yeah,
wasn't a win, but yeah, but welcome to the show.
yeah. Thanks, Rohit. Yeah, the result in the end, I will take the 1-1 draw. I think. Yeah, every football
Yeah,
Liverpool
yeah.
fan
Most
will
Liverpool
take.
fans would probably take the draw, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it could have been more. Or it could have gone either way. But before we begin, I just want to mention that we did the Tottenham West Brom reaction video in the morning. I was actually debating whether I should do it or not, and I did it. And that has
Mm.
now got 750 plus views on YouTube. That is like the highest we've ever got. 750 plus. And I don't know what is it about Spurs. Did Spurs have all these fans that I wasn't aware about? Because that's the first time I've done a reaction video. But thank you to everyone who's seen that video. Thank you to everyone who subscribed after watching that video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to the channel. For such great, exciting content that we keep producing, it really means a lot. Your support means a lot to us. That's thank you everyone. And also, I think we've now hit the big time because for the first time I've got dislikes on a video. I've got 8 dislikes for that video. I don't know
Oh
what I don't
wow!
know whether maybe it was Liverpool
Wasn't me.
fans or United
Wasn't
fans because
me.
of all the things that I said. Maybe they disliked it. I don't know. Maybe Tottenham fans disliked it. But I had a few dislikes. I think now we've made the big time because now we get dislikes.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
yes, but let's get into into this game. City against Liverpool. Ayush, your thoughts when you saw Liverpool's lineup? We had talked about whether the Fab Four would start. You said that they probably wouldn't have started, that they shouldn't have started, but he went for it. He went for all four starting. Were you surprised?
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised. I mean, I wasn't expecting all four of them to start at once. I mean, it was a offensive lineup from Klopp, although it didn't pan out as according to plan, and because Firmino is definitely out of form as it is visible and rightly substituted in second half. But there were glimpses. I mean, City were extra cautious, so knew about a threat and they tried to keep it narrow, keep it tight at the back. So it was all about making mistakes and capitalizing on them, but which City didn't give us many chances apart from that penalty which we gladly took.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. This is where you like to get a City fan perspective. We don't have a City fan here today, but it'd be nice to know what they thought of the team selection. So if you're a City fan and you're watching this video, let me know. Let us know what you thought about Pep's team selections. Because there were a few surprises. There was no Mahrez. There was no Bernardo Silva. He came off the bench. He probably went a bit defensive. If you're going to start with Gundogan and Rodri, it's quite obvious that you're going defensive. So he went a
Right.
little bit defensive. I think it was a 4-2-3-1 in some ways. And he did start Gabriel Jesus and Ferran Torres. Again, we didn't expect him to do that. So I mean, he likes to tinker a little bit in these games, and I think he did that here as well. But I think he might have got it wrong. I think the way that he played a little bit into Liverpool's hands in the first half, and then there was just something wrong with the team. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it just seemed like the team wasn't gelling. City
I
won
think
clear.
Kevin was off form today. I mean, he wasn't on his best matches. Obviously, missing the penalty, his confidence. I mean, it's a great chance that he couldn't take that out of his mind. And in the second half, once Kevin wasn't that good, City were definitely going to suffer from that, from his form.
Yeah,
So that was a big point. And
yeah.
Sterling mostly doesn't turn up against Liverpool in most of the matches, so he wasn't
Yeah.
a threat.
Yeah, we'll talk about Sterling, De Bruyne, and Firmino later on, a little bit later on. But yeah, I think tactically, I think Liverpool, at least for the first 35, 40 minutes, they had Man City's number. I think they knew what the way they were playing. They were always very direct, very forward. They knew where the spaces were. They played a 4-4-2 almost at times. It looked like a 4-4-2. So
Yeah.
they won that midfield battle because of their four, and their strikers were creating issues. But Liverpool's first penalty, was that a penalty for you,
Yeah,
Ayush?
definitely. Yeah, it was a clear-cut penalty. I mean, even after if you VAR is there, I mean, if there was not a penalty, VAR would have checked it and cancelled it at the first. So it was. you can call it a soft penalty, but it was a penalty. I mean, Sadio was just cutting off, and Kyle Walker should have known better that you can't take out your leg because when Sadio is in full flow. So it was definitely there was contact. I mean, if there is contact and the referee has given it, then in the penalty box, I mean, it's a foul outside the D, right? So if it's a foul outside the D, then it is foul in the D also, penalty box also, and it's a penalty. Hence,
Yeah, I thought it was a penalty too. So, City fans, if you are watching this, let us know if you thought that it was a penalty or not. We'll await your opinion on that. I thought it was a penalty as well. Lots of penalties these days in the Premier League. There's quite a few of them. I think this weekend a lot of teams have got penalties. One team that has not got it, guess which one that is? That has not got a penalty. Where's the penalties? No, Manchester United. But it was a nice, well taken penalty from Mo Salah. Second one, what do you think? That I think was a little bit more difficult to gauge. What was your opinion? Was it a penalty or not? The one on Joe Gomez.
it's a hard one. I think. I mean, it's. I wouldn't blame Gomez for that handball because the ball was traveling. When Kevin gives the crosses, they are kicked with a sting in them. So it's more hard for him to take out because the trajectory was also like that. He was running in behind, so his hands were in motion, so he couldn't take the hands out in time. So, but yeah, but once it is reviewed, but I knew it once that it went to the review and VAR gave that please have a look. Then once you see it in slow motion, I mean the whole perspective of that event changes. I mean, it just looks blatant handball, which is in slow motion, like your hand is outside, you're spinning outside. So, but if you watch it in the current moment, the live motion, then definitely I mean, it's a harsh penalty. The only
Yeah,
thing that can be given in City's favor was that the distance was there.
yeah. It was outside. His hand was outside the body, so we know that when you do that, and if there's a fair amount of distance, then yeah, it generally is given as a penalty. It's a bit difficult for defenders, but yeah, I think that's just the way the game is this season. It's
Yeah.
difficult to say, but it didn't matter much because De Bruyne missed it. So which I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where you don't expect it, but maybe the ball, maybe the rain had something to do with. Maybe it was his confidence. Maybe Allison may have put him off. Not sure what it was, but yeah, he missed a penalty, which doesn't happen too often, very rarely. About that first goal that City did score in this game, they did score a goal, and De Bruyne he did get an assist, even though I think Jesus did a lot of the work.
Yeah.
It's was that just good play or was that bad defending from Liverpool? And this is now another game where Liverpool have not kept a clean sheet. By the way, they are struggling with that aspect of the game.
It was definitely a piece of poor defending, loss of concentration from both centre backs. I mean, Jesus was in a lot of space in the center. I mean, both centre backs were the distance was too much. I mean, once you he had so much of space that he could take a first touch, turn around, and then slot it, picked his spot. So and Matip was too far behind, so he couldn't cover back in time. It was I think lucky first touch. I mean, I don't think he meant that, but he was ready. I mean, he was ready to pounce. He anticipated that turn and yeah, it was a good finish from his.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it was a good finish. Definitely a good finish. If he meant it, then it was a really good first touch as well. But I
yeah,
doubt whether
right,
he
right.
meant it or
No,
not.
he's no Burkamp. He's no
Well, it was a
Burkamp.
back
So
heel. I don't know. It was a heel thing. I don't know. Maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe it didn't go off exactly the way that he wanted. Maybe he got lucky with the deflection, but I don't know. It's difficult to say that he meant it or not. But what changed in the second half, Ayush? I mean, it was the first half. There was, there was end-to-end stuff. There was chances. What changed in the second half? Was it lack of fitness? Was it just the fact that both teams had figured each other out, or was it something else?
I think both teams try to build from the back and try to pass it, try to find the spaces which weren't there today. Both teams tried to hassle and harry. I mean, they tried to win the midfield battle first of all. So City tried to keep possession, but Liverpool kept their shape and once the we were ready to pounce on it. So yeah, City were always wary of our pace. I mean, Jota and Mane and Salah. Maybe Klopp started all three of them for this purpose only, for second half, that City's center backs and full backs don't venture too much forward. So that was the plan, and I think it worked to the T. They didn't score, but they also didn't let the City score also. And like I said, I think the miss from penalty miss from Kevin was also played a bit of factor in his form. He was trying a bit too hard. I mean, he was going to the wings. He should be at the center point of that. He's the heart of the City's forward play. So, and Gini and Hendo, I think they also did a good job in mopping up the balls, second balls. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't clear, and the conditions are also bad. I think the rain and the pitch was too,
You
so
sound like Klopp
everything.
now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I, I mean that was the
I'm kidding. I'm
commentators
kidding.
were. I heard the commentators moaning about it, so I think so. Yeah, maybe they are right. They must be sitting, so they know this stuff.
It's just it wasn't a good game in the second half, and I'm not sure what went wrong. Maybe it was the fact that Liverpool stopped forcing the issue, and so there wasn't much space for City to work with. I think Liverpool were compact. They kept their shape, and that affected. I spoke about this as well. That it's always Liverpool's intensity versus City's artistry, and that's how it panned out. Like Liverpool were probably there's something wrong with City this season in that you in the past you would talk about City's teams like Pep's teams always like harassing, hounding the players, trying to make force mistakes, high up the pitch. They don't do that as much these days. It feels like they're more engaged in midfield battles, defensive battles. I don't know what the issue is, but they just don't seem that intense. Whereas Liverpool, they still have that intensity where they're harassing the players, they're trying to force mistakes. Maybe not so much in the second half in this game, but they were still trying to do it. City just looks like they don't want to do that anymore.
I think both teams were comfortable with their 1-1 draw. I mean, before the international break, I mean, no team would like to go on a losing end. Sorry. So I thought they were both managers put the caution to the wind and they just went for a 1-1 simple draw.
Well, they play
And
cautiously.
yeah, Jesus had a great chance. I mean, he missed a simple tap in header. So I mean,
That was painful to watch. Free header, yeah, it was free header that he should have scored from. Yes, there
yeah,
was that chance. Well, there were a few scares for City as well at the back. Edison making a couple of errors,
yeah.
not big costly errors, but he made a couple of errors that could have resulted in goals if Jota had finished better. But yeah, I mean there were half chances, but overall the game was pretty scrappy. Uh, Ayush, between Sterling, De Bruyne, and Firmino, who do you think was the worst player on the pitch? We were gonna have a man of the match. I don't think we can have a man of the match for this one, but who was the worst player on the pitch for this one from those three?
I think because I know Firmino is out of form and so he's not performing, so it is not a big deal for me. And Sterling, as I told, he doesn't turn up against Liverpool mostly. I mean, he has a pathetic record against us. So in that sense, yeah, Kevin missing the penalty was I don't expected that from him. So and apart from that, also he did though he had an assist, but. It was a lucky one, and he didn't affect the whole game as we are used to watch him. He didn't get the crosses right or the set pieces right. So I think Kevin De Bruyne was poor in this game from his own standards, lofty standards. So
Yeah.
he was disappointment because if he tried in second half, I mean, definitely, I mean, Matip and Gomez were there for the taking, and we also lost Trent to an injury. So Milner was playing at his place, so which who doesn't have pace. So if City were, I mean, they didn't try too hard. If they could have won. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean I understand Kevin De Bruyne didn't have a good game today. I wouldn't be surprised if he says that he's injured and backs out of international break, like he'll probably stay at home and won't go with Belgium. That might happen. Because he did look a little bit shattered towards the end there. I don't know whether it was the knocks that he was taking, whether it was just the mental thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he says I'm injured and I don't want to play in the international games. But for me, I think Sterling was the worst player on the pitch. I think, uh, I mean, there was I lost the count of the number of times that he got the ball and then he would check back on his like other
Yeah.
foot. Or he would like stop and wait and do something. There's just, I mean, I know Sterling, a lot of people rate Sterling. I just feel that there's something missing. And I've said this every time. I feel there's something missing. It doesn't feel natural. His movements, his play doesn't feel natural. It doesn't come naturally to him. It sometimes feels like he's pushing, like forcing it. and that stops him from being the player that he could be or that he should be.
Yeah.
And that's why I never call him world class. I think he's just a little one small step below world class, but that step is a big step when you talk about big games like these ones where he falls short because it just feels like it's not natural. He'll do something where you're like, okay, just put your foot through it or just do this, and then he'll be like, no, I unnecessarily complicate things. So I mean,
Yeah.
I lost count of the number of times I was frustrated with watching Sterling. I don't want to insult him, but I will say that today I thought he played like an upgraded Daniel James. That's how I know it's a very controversial statement, and I know people are going to be upset, but just for today, for this game, that's what I thought. That's what he reminded me of. He reminded me of an upgraded Daniel James. So that's. I hope you can improve from that. I don't think you can get much lower than that in the Premier League. But Ayush, just a point for City. Where do you see their title challenge at this point now? I mean, is it drifting away? Is it still there? What do you think? A loss would have been catastrophic, but with a draw, where do you see them stand now?
The point is, I don't see cities stringing 10 or 12 winning streak like they used to in the past. I
Hmm.
mean, earlier it used to be that if they can handle these big matches against Liverpool or United, I mean Chelsea's, so they would ease past the smaller teams 4-0, 5-0 with ease. But now they are struggling to score as well. I mean, they can't. I can't see. I mean, Aguero. They are missing Aguero, Jesus. I mean, there is something missing. Like you said, Sterling is also not hit the form of last season. So, and Kevin also has his stats also not up to that level which we are used to watching. So, once these players they don't click, they don't gel. So, you can see inconsistencies. Itching in their game. The results are also like because we know they are vulnerable in the back. They concede goals. City as well, Liverpool, but City definitely. I mean, they lack center partnership of their previous greats like Company and also and Ederson also. I mean, he is highly rated, but you can see once he's outside the penalty box, he is prone to committing mistakes. Although he gets away with a lot of them. I mean, other teams are not able to capitalize, but all those things in turn and I think teams have figured out how to play against City just like they have figured out how to play against even Liverpool also. So it's not going to be like 99 points from who for this season at least. I think it will be normalcy will return again.
80s,
18,
late 80s.
8
Yeah.
late 80s, yeah. So
Yeah,
lot
I
of
don't. I
teams.
don't. Yeah, I just don't think it's an issue of teams figuring out how to play against City. I think that's quite a given that you eventually figure out how to play against teams. It's just there's something that even with Liverpool, where you say teams might have figured them out, but they still have enough where they know that they have to keep doing their thing, and they eventually find a way, and they'll get a goal or they'll get two goals, even though they're not playing well. Even today, I don't think they played particularly well, but they got the result. With City,
Yeah.
it almost feels like internally there is something that is blocking them from putting their best foot forward. I don't think they're playing at their best, or or that even I don't even think Pep is getting his message across that he wants to get. I don't know what the issue is, but it just feels like for some reason it just feels like they've not got going this season. And I don't know. But on that note, here's one strange one for you. Who are the top of the league? It's Leicester. Leicester City at the top of the league. It was Southampton, it was Tottenham, and now it is Leicester that are going to be top of the league heading into the international break. So there's that for us to look at. I mean, I don't think Leicester will win the league. Unfortunately, I don't think. I still feel that they are not there yet. A lot will depend on if Vardy is fit. Maybe he can carry them, but
I think last season also they had a blistering start. I mean, they were neck to neck with Liverpool, and once Liverpool they faced Liverpool and we defeated them 4-0, I think, at their park. So that they deflated
yeah.
afterwards, and their standards also fell down. So yeah, their aim is also top four. I mean, they finished
Mhm.
just fifth, and they should have finished top four. If not, they didn't choked. So this season, I think they have signed good players also, and
Yeah. Yeah, Wesley Fofana. Well, that is our next game. Liverpool against Leicester City. That is the next game right at the international break. A top of the table clash, if you will. And Tottenham are going to take on Manchester City. So two games that are really going to be interesting to watch after the international break to see what happens with our current table, strange table for today. But Thank you so much, Ayush, for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the result, and hopefully you can enjoy the international break. We get now 2 weeks off. We still have one more video to come today, though, but I think as for fans, you get a week off. So thank you so much for joining and sharing your thoughts on the game today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks for having me back. I
For
mean,
sure.
yeah, the second half was dull, so definitely our mood is also reflected after the match. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
nothing
I'm
much
on a
to
good
talk
point.
about. I mean, nothing, no controversies as such. I mean, just a few injuries also. I mean, losing Trent. I hope it's not a serious injury. So
Well, there is a good time to get an injury. It is probably the game before the international break. He'll be, I think he'll take a couple of weeks off. I think he'll be back. It didn't look too serious to me, so I think he'll be back after the international break. But yes, we've got one more video coming. Arsenal against Aston Villa. We'll do a match reaction for that one, and then of course we'll be back again. We'll see if we do a few over the international break. But thank you so much, Ayush. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and share with everyone that you know. Let's see if this one can crack 1,000 views. Let's see if we can do that. We've got 750. Let's get excited. Let's see if we can crack it. And of course, please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new to get notifications about the videos as they come, because we are going to still be doing content over the break a little bit. So, subscribe, you get notifications. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll know as soon as the video drops. So thank you so much. Have a good night, day. Liverpool have given us a good way to fall asleep if you're, in that time zone for that second half. Liverpool and City, I should say, they've given us a nice thing.
yeah,
But if you're an Arsenal fan, then all the best. That game will probably start by the time this one goes up. So, but we'll be back in a couple of hours to do that one. But thank you so much, Ayush. Have a good night, and everybody else have a good day, night where you're watching this, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
bye guys.